So this morning we have an interview with one of our students. His name is Rich Levine. A couple days ago, he reached out to me on Facebook and he said, I was just hired by a real estate company to shoot photos full-time as a drone pilot. They told me one of the best things I had going for me was that I had passed the Part 107 exam. I reached out to him and I wanted to learn a little bit more about what he does and how he found this positions, because a lot of you guys out there want to get roles as a full-time drone pilot and you want to set yourself apart from the competition. So how do you do that? Let's see in this interview with Rich Levine. I'm excited to go in and see what he's up to. This is a great one for all of us. So where are you based out of?
I'm actually in Knightdale, North Carolina. It's just cool. East of Raleigh.
Oh, okay. And how long have you been there?
Next month it'll be 28 years.
Oh, wow. So you've been there a little while.
Yeah, they stopped calling me Yankee about 7 years ago.
Okay, that's your progression.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
I'm from New York originally, so.
Oh, wow. That's very cool. And so when did you start getting into drones? You said you were in photography, right? And then what was the progression of that like?
It was just another tool. My photography was taken off, no pun intended. In 2016, I stumbled into concert photography, and I had been doing sports stuff and a couple of small weddings because I didn't really have the gear for it then.
Yeah.
And the concerts came along. An accident, total accident. A friend couldn't make it one night to a benefit thing. I went. The opening act liked my work, and they asked me to come out again, and then they started telling other bands about me. And probably around 2018, I decided I needed more equipment. I was starting to shoot festivals, and I wanted to be able to get some cooler shots than everybody else was getting.
Yeah.
So I got my Mavic Mini back in 2018.
Did you start with like just some basic gear, and then you were shooting those concerts, festivals, stuff like that, and then you were like, okay, I could kind of take this to the next level?
Yeah, I was taking what little money I was getting paid, because mostly down here they were like, oh, we'll give you great exposure, which is like, it's like just stab me in the face.
Yeah.
But and I still get that, funny enough. It'll be great exposure for you, and I'm like, no. So yeah, I had some basic. I had a Nikon kit. I literally like a D300, so it was very small camera, but it was crop sensor and all that.
Yeah.
And in 2016, I sort of went from there because I got a D600, which is a full frame Nikon, and I managed to get a few more lenses. And I had like 6 or 7 lenses at that point. And I was going out on my own, just shooting nature photos or sports photography and bugging my kids and my dogs, stuff like that. And around 2018 is when it really started to take off, and that's when I went for the drone.
Very cool.
Just to get that better angle, that better view. It wasn't even for like doing full, wide angle shots of a property. It was like I wanted the shot above the pit.
Yeah.
At a festival, so I get the crowd and the band and all that. And in 2019, I actually moved up from the Mini. I don't remember what I got after the Mini. It wasn't the Pro, the 2 Pro. It was something in between.
Okay.
I'll think of it in a minute. And that was a pretty good one. But then I saw the Mavic 2 Pro around 2020 or 2019, whatever year that was, and that blew my mind.
Yeah.
With the Hasselblad camera on it and just everything it could possibly do.
Yeah.
Was really impressive to me. So I sold some other equipment and paid for that.
That is so cool. And so were you doing, still at the time you were doing those concerts, sports photography, landscape, stuff like that? And then did you kind of, the next step was adding a drone? Were those kind of just passion projects at the time, or were you getting paid for any of those?
I was getting paid for, it was getting to the point where people just started calling me. My method of operation, I want to call it that, was if I call the band or I call the venue to come shoot, I don't expect them to pay me because I'm just coming down there to shoot. And it was really, I kind of realized early on that if I built a reputation for giving decent images and being hopefully the nicest guy in the pit, that they would start calling me back. And I really spent 2018 and 2019 building my reputation. 2019, I shot 83 concerts in this area, 4 festivals and 130 plus bands.
No way.
So that really built my reputation in the area. And I'm the guy in the pit. Whenever I'm out there, if someone's in front of me, I tap them on the back, let them know I'm there. And I also try to be really pleasant with the bands and the fans. So in 2019, I built it up to the point where actually 2 venues hired me directly
Really? So you went from the band to now the venue's hiring you.
Right. And then the problem was they hired me for all of 2020.
Sounds like a problem.
Yeah. And it was great until about March 15th.
Yeah.
And then I was shooting at 2 of the venues, and the one video is paying me, actually, I should say, is they're owned by Live Nation.
Oh, cool.
So it was nice to get a check with Live Nation written on it.
Yeah,
I felt like I'd arrived a little bit to get that level. But they, and then of course everything shut down.
Yeah.
So all the goodwill I had amassed in 2019 was just wiped clean, like in a tidal wave of pandemic. So it was kind of a bummer to have nothing to do for 2020, and just again drive my dogs nuts in the backyard trying to take pictures of it.
You're like, this is gonna be great exposure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is gonna be good, you guys. Someone's gonna love you besides me. But no, it was so I've rebuilt it quite a bit. I've gotten back into it. 2021 was starting to see a little more participation. People were getting out there again and going to shows.
Yeah.
In a limited sense, and now 2022, it feels like it's much more on track the way I wanted it to be in 2020.
And do you feel like actually now, do you think those concerts are picking up to the same volume as before?
Absolutely. It's now that the mask mandate is gone now.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, usually depending on where I'm going, I will still wear a mask at a venue. But the outdoor festivals are great. They're coming back. I just shot a festival this weekend that was actually a wedding wrapped around a festival.
No way.
Yeah, and I stumbled into it. My usual business mode is to just stumble into good work. And the couple was getting married. They rented out this place in Raleigh, 15 minutes from my house, with a big lake, and they have yurts, and you could set up your tent anywhere you wanted, and a huge stage. And I shot their wedding and all the bands.
Wow.
And again, and I brought the drone.
Yeah.
And I got I don't know if you've seen my Facebook page, but I had a really good drone shot of the couple in the middle with everyone surrounding them. We didn't get like a perfect circle because it was like herding cats, and I just couldn't get them all in a row. Yeah. But it was still, whenever I mention the drone now, it's not because I guess they know my photography pretty well.
Okay.
But and I have a drone, and I have Part 107 license, so I can fly commercially, and I can come bring this with me, and I have my license with me at all times.
Yeah.
And they, oh wow, that'd be great. That's another step up.
Totally.
You know, because they know I'm going to be on the ground. I'm 5'10", so every shot you're getting is an average shot like this, unless I get down on my knees or get up on a step ladder. But then I bring the drone out.
Yeah.
And it's just it expands everything.
That's so cool, and new deliverables for you too.
So exactly right. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you charge separately for drone photos, or how do you structure that?
Yeah, charge separately. I asked them if they want it. I just did a real estate photo shoot for, it was just property. There's about 4 3/4 acres of property. It's not built on yet, and it's surrounded by trees. It was actually a very nice looking piece of property. And I said, well, I have a drone, and I have a set fee. I do a lot of real estate photography around here.
Yeah, cool.
And I said, I'll do the shots for you, and I'll walk around, and I'll be honest with you, I wanted to bring the drone because it was an unmowed field, and we have snakes down here.
Yeah.
And my first thought is, I'll send the drone out.
Yeah, you're like, let's go.
You don't need me out there, right? Yeah. And we have poisonous snakes around here. So I thought, I have a drone. She said, oh, that'd be great. And fortunately, I guess she had dealt with that before. She's like, oh, what do you charge for the drone part of it? And I told her, and it was really, I just did a bunch of overhead shots, literally from 300 feet, to get the whole property in one shot. Then I brought it down to get angles and by the trees, and then I did a sweeping move just down the property because it actually looks like a boot and it goes that way. So I just filmed it that way, about 45 feet off the ground.
Awesome. And you're doing photo and video, it sounds like.
Yes. Yeah, both.
Awesome. And then, so when you decided, did you start with one or the other, or were you already, when you shoot these concerts, is it mostly photos? Or
I'll do video occasionally if the band asks me to. I shoot Nikon. I have a Z7.
Yeah.
Which used to be their flagship. Now they have the Z9, so making me want more. But I'll do some video where I'll advance. Hey, would you mind shooting the first 3 songs?
Okay.
Generally, I have 2 cameras. Right now, I have one because I'm saving my money for the Z9 in the fall.
Yeah.
But I'll put my camera on a tripod in front of the soundboard, and I'll just hope it'll just be a still shot of the entire stage and the band, and hopefully the heads of the crowd.
Yeah.
And just get them. The microphone built into the Z7 is amazing.
Really?
And it really, it picks up, it's sort of monodirectional, so it picks up the loudest sound. So you get that, and I park right in front of the soundboard because I want to hear what the soundboard guy is hearing, because that's where he picks up his mix.
Totally. And then you can kind of hear the crowd in the background.
Exactly. Yeah, I have an external microphone I'll put on once in a while. But for that, it's so I'll offer the video, if they just really want it, because it's a big crowd and they want something. But it's not a big part of what I do. It's probably about maybe 5% of what I normally do.
Got it. And then you kind of transferred that to drones too, with the majority being photo, video if you want it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'll tell them I'll bring the drone, I'll get photos of it, but I'll shoot some video too if the property's really nice. I did it on the lake. Like it's like if you get out of the driveway and you fall into the water, so it's great.
Yeah.
And I went out onto the lake, sent the drone out, and I brought it back down the lake up to because usually you do the pull away.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you fix it on the house and just pull away, and it'll stay focused on the house. So I did it the other way, coming in, and probably about 30 feet in the air, so I get the whole house and all. But it made it really cool to come around the lake this way and then the house.
Very cool. It's like a reveal.
Nice presentation. Exactly, it was a great reveal. So that was just something I did on the fly.
That's so cool.
I have a plan because I didn't know what it looked like when I got out there.
Yeah. And once you deliver these, what's the initial reaction from the real estate agent or the client in that scenario?
I haven't had, they don't really react to it. They just, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I get what they want. I think they're just happy that I get what they want, and hopefully a little bit more. But for the drone, I think it makes a huge difference for someone who've never dealt with it before.
Yeah.
If they've just gone out, because a lot of times they don't always hire a professional photographer. They'll just get the listing agent to go out with their camera with a 14 millimeter and just shoot inside the house and get the shots. And sometimes they're like this. And
totally.
but it's good enough to sell the house. Around here, we're having such a boom in selling houses.
Cool.
That you don't really need them. I mean, you can put the pictures up just to get an idea, but people are bidding like crazy on houses out here.
And that's what I wonder, because the real estate industry has changed so much since we did that. We did that full time for years, and it's changed so much. But now the reason I ask is because upon delivery of this package, photos, videos, whatever it may be, I'm trying to see what are they using it for nowadays, and that's what I'm kind of wondering if you have any experience in their reaction going, hey, thanks, this is going to be great for the MLS, this is going to be great for social media. What do you see kind of a direction that's heading now?
I've noticed it in the last year more than anything, because we have much larger companies moving here now, which we never had before.
Okay, got it. Amazon
is building here.
Yeah.
Apple is building a huge place here. We have a thing called Research Triangle Park, which is west of Raleigh, where IBM and all the big companies, Pfizer, are all there. Cisco is out there. And but they're moving here, and we're getting a lot of people moving from wherever they used to work to come here.
Yeah.
So to give them that little extra view of the neighborhood or just the surrounding area, they like that a lot, because they want to see what they're getting into. If you're coming in from California, you can get all that information by looking at a video and some photos.
Yeah.
It's much more enticing, I think. Okay, that's much more like what we're looking for. So I'm finding the video on the outside is, from the drone perspective, is really helping. I'm getting some feedback on that, saying, oh, this is great. I had one woman said she wanted a bird's eye view though, and she was, I want it like 500 feet in the air. I said, let me explain the rules to you about flying it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to prison for flying a drone, just so you know. I've had people say I can go up to 400 feet.
Yeah.
I said, but that's the maximum. There was one shot she wanted. She wanted the house and a lake.
Got it.
The lake was pretty far away, so I had to go up and out, and I had the tiny little house in the picture at the very bottom corner, and there's the lake behind it. And I said, you wanted the shot, that's the shot you're going to get. But again, it gives people a good idea of the proximity to this beautiful lake.
Yeah.
So it's been a bonus to have it, and that's why I worked so hard to get my license, because I wanted to be able to fly commercially.
Yeah. And so when you decided to get your license, what was that process like? Like, what sparked your interest in getting the license? I know you mentioned a little bit your business was a large part of it, but what kind of was the first thing that you go, oh wow, I need to take this seriously? What kind of sparked that?
I was getting more requests for drone video, and not just from like real estate companies, but also from the concert venues, like the festival. I should say the festivals, because I would hear them say, oh, we're looking for drone photography, but you want to make there's liability issues and things like that. So to get the license, it just became something I really wanted to go after, because it takes me to a level a lot of people aren't on yet.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are just flying their drones around without a license, without taking the test and all that. And I thought, well, if I show up and I've got my card with me, it makes a big difference in them allowing me to. And I've got the insurance now.
Yeah.
And thanks for that, by the way.
Of course.
You guys had some recommendations that worked out really well. So, but again, once I contact or they contact me and say, hey, you have a drone? Yes, I do. And I immediately say, and I've got my Part 107.
Exactly.
And they just flip because that's the thing they're looking for. Yes, because there are thousands of people say, oh, yeah, I fly a drone.
Yeah.
But you got to keep it under the radar because, you don't have.
So that limits your business too. Limits your business. It limits your exposure. And, you only have one shot sometimes with these big clients or one way to introduce yourself and really establish credibility with them. And if you don't have that, it automatically, X's you out of the.
Yeah, and it's become a bigger part. I've noticed it in this year. I've been hearing more people about it over the last year. That I've been hearing more people talking about it. Getting that because they want to do something new and exciting and get a different angle. Like I said, I'm 5'10". If I just stand still, every shot I get is the perspective anybody else could have because I'm average height. So like at a concert, I get down on my knees in front of the stage and I'm shooting straight up and I get that angle. And those are the photos that get the most recognition. So when I'm out with the drone, and even with the drone, I'll do something a little different. I won't shoot straight down. I'll pull it at an angle and shoot to get more background and stuff like that. And it makes a difference in how people view the pictures.
Exactly. And the other thing too is that like a common misconception is that you have to as soon as you get your drone up in the air, shoot it straight out to 300 feet, 400 feet.
Right.
The drone is just a new perspective. And for a lot of professional photographers and professional content creators, they realize that the focus of their shot just needs to be shown a little above where, eye level is. So, a lot of the best shots are really just, 20, 25 feet up. Something that, you wonder. It's almost like in some cases you see a 400-foot shot, you're like, oh, okay, but when you see like a 25-foot shot of a concert, you're like, was that a drone or was that guy, on something, guy or girl on some ladder? You know what I mean? It's almost like there's more than meets the eye there.
Yeah, and it's funny. The first time I shoot a festival every year here. It's twice a year. It's down in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. It's called the Shakori Hills Festival. Somehow I stumbled into that one too because one of the bands I worked with liked my works. Hey, come down to Shakori. I'd never even heard of it.
Yeah.
But I went down, and after the first year, they asked me to come back every year and shoot. That was nice. I think they were trying to make it up to me because they forgot to ask me if they could use one of my pictures for the poster that year. I think they were just being really nice to me. But now I'm their main guy, which is great. And I told them, I've got the drone and I've got the license now. I really want to I never brought it before because I was afraid to. They've got security there and they've got police officers. So I'm always concerned that they may ask me, hey, do you have it? So this year I'm bringing it. But I did fly for one of the festivals they did last year. They did like a spring series. And just for fun, I brought the drone. I kept it away from everybody. I kept it because there's like 3 giant fields. And I took off on the back field and I flew it just over the trees where nobody else was, down onto the stage and onto the crowd.
Cool. And
that's the photo that everybody went nuts about. And I was only about 100 feet in the air, but because I wanted to get the whole scene. And that's the shot because you get to see everyone and everything in one shot. It's not too high that you're not going to know where you are or what it's about. But some of the shots I do that are my favorite are 25 feet in the air.
Totally.
Concert or, doing real estate and getting that perspective. Here's the house and here's the drone. And you get to see the roof and the yard and the front of the house. And it gives you a really nice picture.
Yeah.
So, and again, I also love that, like with this particular, that I can adjust the settings to get the exposure I want.
Yeah.
Because I mess with exposure all the time. And to be able to do it on the drone is a huge thing for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your new job, because this is the exciting part here. I was just telling Hunter, we were just on our way to the office today, and I was like, Rich got a full-time job doing this. He's and then the big question was like, how did it come up? And for other people that are interested in maybe pursuing a full-time, part-time to full-time position, how do they start to create those connections and establish themselves?
Sure, absolutely. And again, I just to go back a little bit for the real estate, is a woman who's my real estate agent, and she actually owns her particular agency.
Oh, cool.
And I got in touch with her, and she actually was asking me if I could shoot a house for her. And I said, sure. So that sort of got me into more and more real estate photography. And when I started posting them, like on my I have a page on my website that shows real estate photography, just a few images, but low angle, straight on, up high, things like that. And that got me a lot more business. I launched my company, my private company, back on June 8th of last year.
Okay.
I left my day job. I'll be honest, I was working for Audi.
Okay.
In Raleigh, I was their technology specialist.
Cool.
And I just had enough business that I could launch.
That's
I had a contract with the bank, and they were opening branches, and they wanted photos from the surrounding area to hang in the offices.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was having a great time. So I had enough business to launch, so I did it. I quit the job and all this, but I found over the last like 6 or 8 months that I'm free a lot during the week. Most of my work is at night and on weekends. So I get alerts for like LinkedIn or whatever it is, or Indeed, and I don't even know why I get them. I never asked for them. I think I updated my resume to include the photography on it. I also started getting
the algorithm's like, here you go.
And, exactly. So I saw this one that came up because I really liked the way they described the job. I had never applied for something like that before because I'd had enough work to get me through. But again, like I said, I was finding that I'm free during the day.
Yeah.
And not every day, but most. And then I go out at night and shoot. So, and it was 9 to 4, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
Which means I can keep doing my business. I won't be doing real estate photos separate from what.
Your passion is really to these concerts, events, venues, stuff like that. Is that right?
Yeah. And again, I love real estate photos because I love shooting houses.
Yeah.
I love shooting products. It's just the thing I've always enjoyed, just going looking at houses. So just to take the photos is a blast. But I applied with them, and I had an interview, and 3 interviews in the end. But they were hiring, I guess, across the country at that point, and hiring quite a few photographers. And it took about 2 months for the process to end. And they called me up last Friday, I guess, and said I got the job. And I was really happy about it. Again, I'm doing okay with my business, but I love being busy. I don't like sitting around. And there's only so much work I can do in my spreadsheets and my taxes and editing and deleting. And chasing my dogs. So when they called me, I was really excited about it. Again, it's not, I hate to say that this way, but it's not about the money for me. I mean, I'm happy to make money. But to be able to shoot all the time.
Exactly.
This is my job. I'm going to shoot all the time. Like, sign me up. So I'm really excited about it. And again, it was an interesting process. We had a long discussion about photography and how they want it done. There's training involved because they want it a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at it like, hey, you're my customer, not the person selling the house. I'm working for you. So whatever way you want me to do it is the way it's going to be done. So I'm just, I said it was a 2-month process. Them writing to me on Friday, hey, we haven't made a decision yet. We're working. So
2-month interview.
It was. They were really great about it, and the 2 guys I talked to who were running the photography department there were absolutely great and fun to talk to, and it was a good conversation. So again, I'm really excited to have it, and I start middle of May.
Oh, very cool. Well, first of all, congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And so what did the job listing say, or what was the title of this listing that like grabbed your attention?
Yeah, well, I saw a real estate photographer.
Got it.
I'm like, oh, cool. I love shooting houses. So that's when I looked it up. I'd heard of Redfin before for what they do, and because they have an interesting buying and selling process apart from photography. If you look at their website, it's actually really. I like the way they do. There's some companies out there that do what they do, but not to the level they're doing. I don't think. I've looked at them all just to see, and some of them are a little. We have a local guy who does it. He's a little sketchy. But these guys really are on the up and up. And when I talked, the thing that really got me was when the first person I talked to, sort of the pre-interview, he knew everything about it, and the way he described it to me, where you're going to be shooting 9 to 4 Monday through Friday. It could be 3 or 4 houses a day. It could be 2 houses. Depending on the volume and if the houses are ready. And you go in, and we tell you exactly what to get. Mm-hmm. I'll say this. just for you guys, this is the truth. I think the thing that pushed them over the edge to hire me was the fact that I had the drone license.
Really?
I think that made all the difference because not a lot of people have them in my area that I'm aware of. Because I have friends who are photographers. I have like 20 friends and I think I'm the only one who has one.
Really?
Well, maybe one other guy that I've talked to. Maybe they just haven't mentioned it. But I don't know too many who have that, and I think that's a huge selling point, that they don't have to worry about getting me in there and passing the test. No, I've already got it.
Yeah. So you're saying 20 people, you're less than 10%. You're beating out 90% of your competition by just.
Oh yeah, it's a huge. And again, I studied up on. All credit to you guys. I think I wrote you a note. That course, and I'll be completely honest with you, I'm dyslexic, and I have trouble learning by reading and stuff like that. But the course, for some reason, I'm able to focus. It's probably a television thing. I'm able to focus on the screen and learn. Yeah. And I had 60 pages of notes.
Wow.
Because if I don't write it down, I probably won't remember it. And I wrote down everything. And I wanted to pass the first time for two reasons. One, it's really expensive. To take the test, like $150 or $175.
Yeah.
It's not terribly expensive, but still, you don't want to have to take it twice. And two, because I really I don't learn well, and I wanted to really. So I every night, and the five practice exams, and I took them all multiple times to the point where I knew the question and answer by rote. It's like the way my brain works. I can't walk in and take a test. I have to walk in and put down the answers.
Yeah.
And the test they gave me, because they're always different. The test they gave me, I had a lot of the stuff. There's some chart stuff, but I was making little scratch marks on my paper. And then the ones I thought I got wrong, and I got 8 wrong, and my score showed that.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I'm glad I was sketchy about those, because those are the ones I probably got wrong.
And going into that, I mean, there are 13 versions of the test. There are, so many different questions that could be on it. But you're, taking those 5 practice exams, you're essentially checking off 300 questions.
Exactly.
That you walk in there knowing, okay, there may be all these different versions and all these different questions, but that's the majority, that you're walking in with a really, really good understanding of.
Exactly. And for me, it was like, I just wanted to make sure, because they do, and people should know that the questions you get on the test are worded differently than they are in practice. It can always be, and even just a little bit different.
Yeah.
You notice it, and it's the kind of thing that could throw you off.
Yeah.
But I had to walk in there and pretend I was really confident and sit down and take the test. And I was done pretty quickly, because it went back to question number 1. Oh, I'm done. Wow. Okay. But it was really, I mean, again, the course was everything for me, and I'm not just, being nice. It really was, because the way I'm forced to learn, and I'm sure I was driving my wife insane, because I was going upstairs to take another section of the course, but it really made all the difference. I did that for, I'm not kidding, most people probably don't have to go this far. I did it for 2 months.
Really? Yeah.
Every night.
It's whatever, that's the point though. It's your process. It's right. Whatever it takes. And that's why we made it self-paced. And that's why you can watch the videos, you can pause the lectures, you can go back. We've got the graphics on the screen, the text below the video if you want to read along. And,
right.
And everyone's got their own learning style. So, when people go, there are always people in every scenario that are better or worse than you at everything, right?
Right.
And things come easier. And I was never that guy, in high school or college that was like, oh yeah, I don't have to study for this exam. There's always like, oh yeah, I got 100, but I didn't study. It's like, okay, great. But that's not me, right?
Right.
So, just being able to have, all the different options, the bases covered, and going through at your own speed and learning in your own style. And I don't know if you took advantage of them, but we just started doing the weekly live Q&A calls with Sam, where you can go in, you can see basically the video lecture. It's a second glance, a new take at those modules, and then he gives it to you in his own way. He's a great presenter. It's a lot of fun. But then you have the ability to ask questions at the end too. So that's like,
right.
above and beyond. We just kind of threw that in there because we're like, if you have a question, it might be cool to see it from a different perspective, and then go back and ask a question on that new way of describing it too.
Exactly. And I think also that is a bonus for you guys. I mean, anybody can go on YouTube and look up some of the stuff they need to know, but the depth of knowledge you guys put into it, and then also the follow-up stuff. You have a section now on drone photography.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm actually about to start that. Because again, it's just more knowledge base.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I learn as I go normally, but to see that stuff and just make my notes and make sure I understand, because I don't use the drone as fully as I should.
Mm-hmm.
I fly up, I make sure it's focused by tapping this. I have I've spent the extra money and I got the Mavic 2 Pro. I got the controller too.
Oh, cool.
I started taking my phone out of the case and putting it into the
the smart control.
And it's amazing.
Cool.
I just tap the screen and it focuses and all that, and I can do my adjustments any way I want. But I haven't really used it because there's not a lot of large open spaces where I could fly it around and do the pullbacks, things like. I'd love to get on that, so I'm hoping to do that. I'm going to the festival next weekend.
Cool.
And I'll be flying there, so I'll be able to. They got a huge field, so I'll be able to do some of that stuff. But just again, I think what separates you guys, and I looked at a couple, was the depth of the courses and stuff like that. It really made a huge difference for me. And again, I'm one of the worst case scenarios for studying. I really admit that. Like, my wife is the person who can go in and not study and get 100.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you were falling asleep during your classes. How did you do that? And I'm the guy who studies all night and gets a 78.
Yeah.
Just terrible. And again, when I went in there and I took the test and walked out and they were grading for me, and the woman just looked at me without saying, I said, am I doing okay? And she went like that. I was like, I was so relieved.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's the like I said, the depth of stuff you offer in those courses is amazing. I went back a few times to go over a few things that I just wasn't sure I got, and I like what you're doing with the Part 107. It's like Wednesdays, right? You do that?
Yeah. Basically, we had one just at 10:30 Pacific just now.
Okay.
Every single week, and it's a lot of fun. I want to let you know 2 new things that are coming too, just things we're working on.
Yeah.
We have the 14-day drone pilot challenge, which, did you say you enrolled in that program?
That's what I'm about to enroll.
Okay. So that one is our flagship course. It's basically like a speed learning program in the same format, but the idea is that you can learn everything in 14 days. There's nothing that would take years to acquire. In fact, we've taken years of experience and brought it down to a 14-day format. The newest thing that we're launching right now, Hunter's working on it, is our CapCut editing program. It's editing on your smartphone, which is absolutely game-changing. And you looked at that app and were like, what did you think of the app?
Literally blown away by it. Editing in Premiere and Davinci for years, going into just seeing what you can do on your phone now it almost upset me. And
Dude, he walked in here and he goes, dude, you're never gonna believe what I just figured out.
Just everything about it, how easy they make it. You can literally.
Wow, that's amazing.
You can trim it down, bring it right into CapCut, and edit a video start to finish on your phone. And it was like.
That's incredible. I mean, I started off like an iMovie.
Yeah.
2007 was the first movie I shot a movie on my Nikon, sort of a mockumentary thing, and went into iMovie on my Mac, and it was still, the software was pretty good back then. It wasn't as good as it is now. But I got it all done, and I mean, now you do it on your phone like that. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's not like I was suffering, but still that you can do it on your phone. It's amazing how much you can do. I mean, I'm not a big person on my phone. I text and I email and stuff, but I still like doing all this stuff on my Mac. I have MacBook Pro, and I love working on it.
Yeah. So that course has Davinci Resolve, step by step, all the way through learning Davinci Resolve, free software. Yeah. So that is the biggest game changer with regards to like entry level people that are coming in, beginners that are going, okay, Premiere is very, very overwhelming. It seems very complex. I don't know if I want to learn this. And then they never actually learn anything and they put it off. So that, the kind of like barrier to entry, we broke down a little bit, did a Davinci Resolve course. That one was a ton of fun. Davinci is very similar to Premiere, but that barrier to entry is a lot lower because it is free. Then we have the Premiere course that Hunter continuously adds to. That one's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And then now we're doing CapCut video editing, breaking down that barrier one more time. going, okay, look, if you don't, some people don't have a computer, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't have a computer. They want to edit a few clips on their phone, get it out there, put it on social media, build their portfolio, build a town reel, whatever it is. So that CapCut is like the barrier to entry for the beginner with just a phone, drone plus your phone. That's all you need.
Yes.
So that's kind of the first step in that process. But for you too, whatever stage you want to get in at, there's kind of like something for everyone in there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I was earlier today setting up a new page on my website for drone photography and video, because it allows me to add video and stuff like that. So I was going to use the property video I shot, and then some of the drone photos from the wedding last weekend, and a few others that I've had over the trees, sunsets and stuff like that, because I can walk out of my front porch and send the drone up, and it's facing Raleigh. So I can get, as the sun's going down, you can see in the background, very small, you can see the buildings sticking up and all. We don't have a lot of tall buildings right here. But I'm working on that now. So I want to add as much as I can. And that's why I want to go back in and do some more studying. I spend an hour every day of the week learning something new.
Very cool.
No matter what, whether it's the drone or my camera or how to set up lights for a portrait shoot.
Yeah.
I spend 1 hour a day because I don't know enough to me. And again, I get some nice photos when everyone likes them. But when I get a really nice photo, sometimes I feel like an imposter. I'm like, I was so lucky. But I can't believe that turned out like that. And it was an accident. So I'm taking the time to really learn the stuff and just keep getting better. So anytime I have an opportunity to take a class or just sit for an hour and look at something, I do that every day. It's 7 days a week.
That is so cool. If there's one thing that you would want to learn, or something that we could shed some light into or continue with additional resources for something, what's the next thing, or what's something you're interested in learning that's unique?
It's for me, again, it almost sounds trivial when I think about it. I really want to get better with the controls, like when I want to maneuver the drone. And I know it's actually probably, to you guys, it's like old hat, but for me, I do move around a bit, and I'm getting better with it. And I don't know if it's just practice and really, the controller, it's up and turn and then forward and backwards and whatever. But I'm trying to learn to better manipulate the drone. And that's, again, it's probably more about practice. But that's my next thing. I want to be able to get more dynamic shots. And that's where I'm headed. So I'm hoping to spend more time with that.
And is that because you want the confidence in flying it and being able to understand the direction of flight and being confident in your shot? Or is that because when you're up there and you've got a cool perspective, you want to capitalize on that perspective, and you want to, are you looking at the perspective or the movement of the drone?
Both.
Okay.
I'm really looking at both. I want to get, if I'm at a concert and they're letting me fly, and again, I don't fly over people, but if I can get around them, and I can get that perspective of here's the stage and here are the people, and I can sweep around at 50 feet and banking it a little bit and getting that shot of the crowd. There's a beautiful shot. I don't know if you've ever seen the Woodstock movie from 1989. Only I was watching it the other day, and they had the helicopter flying over. Obviously, they didn't have drones. They had a helicopter flying overhead, which seems even more dangerous to me.
Right.
But they had the guy, the camera hanging out, and just the shot of him coming down the crowd, and then the helicopter started to turn, and then you got the crowd perspective heading into the stage, and then they turned it, and now you're getting the perspective from the stage of the crowd going up that hill, 500,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of dynamic shot I like to have, that reveal shot. But it was really cool they did both perspectives. And that's kind of what encouraged me or inspired me to really get more. I don't want to just fly over. I've done that before. I see all those wonderful nature photos, people just flying straight with the camera pointing straight down. And it's up the trail, and all of a sudden you're at a waterfall. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it. But I want to get a little more range in that shot.
So the movements of your drone, confidence in the movements, confident flying. Got it. Yeah. No, that's understandable. I think that's a great way to look at it too, because if you can have confidence in the movement going into it, one thing that I was always very happy I did was I like you're saying right now, I was confident in my drone movements, and going into any shoot, I knew I could kill it. I knew I could crush it because I know the things that are going to help me figure it out while I'm up there flying.
Right.
If I can plan a little bit before and I can look at the environment and then know that I have some shots in the bag that are my go-tos, you're always going to walk away with great footage or
Right.
at least a few great shots, as opposed to trying to figure it out when you're up there, coming back after an entire day of shooting. The concert's over. There's no second shots for a concert either.
No, concerts and weddings. It's all it's you better get it because you might not have the opportunity to get in. Yeah, so
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's really, really cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and this is a lot of fun. The other thing I wanted to do was kind of highlight. I want to get some exposure to your portfolio and to your website and stuff like that. Where can we find you?
you'd be sorry you asked. It's a long name. My website is Bramblebrook Photography.
Okay.
Sorry, I lied. BrambleBrookImages.com.
Okay.
It's actually named after the street I was raised on in New York. And that's where to go. Also, Rich Levine on Facebook, or I have Bramblebrook Photography on Instagram. I had to change the name of the company when I was filing for my LLC. So, but that's Instagram is good. It's funny, I don't post as much on Instagram as I should probably, but Facebook, I'm all over it. And that's either under Bramblebrook Images or it's under my name, Rich Levine.
Cool.
But the website is BrambleBrookImages.com.
Very cool. And is there like one photo that you're like, this is my favorite, you'd love to show someone?
Yeah, over the years I've had one or two that I've really, I hate to say it, there's one or two photos of mine I like. I had actually one I took last weekend at the festival is now one of my favorites. A friend of mine named Rebecca Todd, who's a fantastic performer, great singer, and she was on stage in this incredible outfit, and I shot it right in front of her, and then I put it in Photoshop and posterized it to really saturate the colors. It's absolutely it's probably my favorite photo this year.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it really, but mostly it's the concert photos that I get where I feel like I've nailed something.
Yeah.
Because the lighting and all, it's a little more exciting. But like the pictures from my kids' prom, I love. So that's mostly the concert photos are what I get. But that, like the last weekend, it's just that one I nailed it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I got that one.
That's so cool.
The camera did actually.
That is awesome. Yeah, well, that's so fun. It was great talking to you too, and congrats on. I think the biggest thing is congrats on your full-time job doing this.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
A lot of fun. You're gonna have to keep us updated on that, and the community. We'd love to see more of your work, and when you especially share your experience too, as you're flying drones. That's the coolest.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. I'm really good. When we did the wedding this weekend, I brought the drone and got the overhead shot, and I got a couple of just like the bride and groom party, sort of in a V, above them, and then when I did the people around. It's not exactly the shot I wanted because I had to go up pretty high to get them all in because they wouldn't get closer. But it's a fun shot. I'll put it on Facebook page for you.
Yeah,
it's just a nice photo. And again, it's with the drone, and it was like however high up in the air I was probably only about 60 feet when I did that shot. But it got a little bit of the lake in the background. You can see everything. It's just a nice shot. But yeah, I'll put it on the Facebook page for you.
That'd be a lot of fun. We'd love to see it.
Cool,
Rich. Well, that was so awesome to connect with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're here for you. This is what we do all day. We have a lot of fun doing it. And it's so cool to see your success in something that, it starts small like everything and then builds up and, opportunities come your way, which is that's the best part about all this.
Absolutely. And again, I really cannot thank you guys enough for the course. I'm not kidding. It was probably it's the best money I ever spent. and I mean, I passed the first time and it was incredible. So I sing your praises. Actually, a friend of mine from New Jersey, when he saw that I had mine, he wanted to get it and he signed up with you guys immediately.
Oh, cool.
So I'm always happy to hear that. So I told him, don't go anywhere else, just go. Just trust me on this. I know what I'm talking about. So you guys do a great job and I really appreciate it.
That is awesome. Cool. Well, I appreciate the connection there. That's a lot of fun. And the more people we just saw recently too, a couple people are sharing it with their friends. They get in the group and then it's like a reunion. Under some of the comments are like, hey, send me your phone number again. I don't have it. Okay, here you go. We got to go out and shoot someday. So that's really cool to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Cool, Rich. Well, I'll let you go. I appreciate your time. It was so great to connect with you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, cool. See you later. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we just finished our call with Rich. That was so much fun. It was great to meet you. That was an incredible connection to someone who is flying drones full time, is a photographer, has developed his craft over time, added drones to his portfolio, is making money doing this consistently, knows where to look to find these positions as they come in. He took advantage of that opportunity, went through a 2-month interview process and got this job. Our worst day is someone's best day, because we're flying drones, we're shooting content, and we're providing a lot of value to someone in our clients in a brand new way. So it's really, really exciting to see. That was so much fun. We got to do more of these because, I get to connect with you guys on Facebook and, and Hunter, and I see your work as you progress, and it's so much fun to see. But that just gave me like a whole new burst of energy to connect with you guys and hear your stories, because I want to hear them. You guys want to hear them. If you're sitting there, you just bought a drone, if you just passed your license, first of all, congrats. And you're looking for the next step in that process, make sure that momentum keeps going and listen to these stories, and we're going to highlight them for you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. That was a lot of fun. We're going to highlight Rich's work here. His stuff will be in the description if you want to check that out. Make sure to stay tuned for our new videos. We put out a new video every single week on YouTube. Click that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about unlocking your drone's full potential and becoming a confident drone pilot, then be sure to check out our course, 14-Day Drone Pilot Pro. It's a speed learning program for beginners, teaching aerial photography and video editing, and our students are absolutely loving it. I'll link it in the description below. Make sure to click that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.